Yes, it is.
Hello, sorry. Are we still able to submit questions through the email to be answered here?
Yes, there'll be a QR code at the end, so take you to a Google form.
Perfect, thank you.
Two minutes. It's 8:58 in Honolulu.
8:58. Do we have anyone from Honolulu?
That's Honolulu, Hawaii. I don't know if you have anybody from Honolulu, but it's early morning. It's 4:58 in Melbourne, Australia, just if you wanted to know. Good day, mate. No. T-minus 1 minute. Yeah, if everybody could keep mute on, please, that will keep the background noise silent. And we are going to have a place for you to submit questions. At the very end, there'll be a QR code, and it's also on our website too. This whole presentation is available for you to download on our admissions page. We have 200 people registered, so it's a big crowd, can't handle questions on this kind of a format. So please submit them and we'll get them back to you. And we send everybody's questions to everybody, so you can read everybody else's questions. It's really fun because you may have not thought of something. Almost ready to start. 3 o'clock. All right, folks, we're gonna get going. This is our virtual open house. It's my condo, really. But anyway, welcome to Emory. This is going to be kind of an informal but informative, I would say about an hour to get you everything you need to know about applying to Emory's PA program and what we do. So please keep your mute on. That would be very helpful. And we will record this and actually post this version up on our website. Probably take about a week though, because it's slow to get them to do that. My name is Ellen Platt. I'm an assistant professor and director of admissions. I am a PA. And I'd like to introduce my co-host today, Shan Sajid. Tell them who you are, what you do. You're my co-pilot.
So I'm a fourth-year student at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Bio major pre-PA concentration. Also an employee at Emory. I'm a cardiology tech, and currently I'm working in our COVID ICU at one of our campuses. And yeah, applying to PA school this cycle. I think the cycle opened yesterday. So.
It did, last night, midnight, boom. So you can apply. Everybody on here, please apply to a Georgia school, and especially Emory. That's our whole goal today, is to really kind of give you a background and insight. A little bit about my story. Again, I live in Atlanta. I've been here over 45, 50 years. Yeah, something like that. I went to Georgia Tech also as an undergrad. I was an engineer, civil engineer at that. Nothing to do with health, but I really had a radical change. Went into health systems. Didn't want to go into civil engineering. That was not good. But I saw this PA thing starting up, and this is back in the 70s, so it was just brand new. And I met a PA. I think most people meet a PA and they say, this is pretty cool what you do. That changed my mind. I applied to 2 schools. There are only 2 schools in Georgia, MCG and Emory. I got rejected by MCG because they said, go away, you don't have any experience. And at Emory, I only had one interview, one person. He just said, well, you're an engineer. We never had one. You're it. That was my interview. So otherwise, I can't get in with you guys. So I went to Emory 2 years, graduated, got a job at Grady. That's our big inner city hospital. And worked there for 25 years as a practicing PA and did a lot of teaching, research, taking care of patients, got involved more with teaching, and I loved the teaching aspect. So I eventually slid over to the academic side, and now I love doing admissions. I also teach in the didactic program for the whole year, so I get you from day one all the way till you graduate. So I have several courses along the way. So I can tell you a little bit more about the academics and what you're getting into. So Jan, tell them a little bit about you. I know you told them you went to Georgia Tech. That's, yeah.
So let's see, a little bit about me. I was also born in Atlanta, went to Georgia Tech, nothing too special, graduating in December. Of course, hope to be a PA soon. We'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. But about this presentation, so what's going to happen a little bit is we're going to go over, because we have people from all levels here. I know, just to my knowledge, we have someone who's like already graduated. We may have students that are still in maybe their first year of school and still kind of, exploring the different healthcare professions. And then I'm sure we also have people that are applying this cycle like I am. So just to kind of get everyone in, we're going to start with sort of like a brief overview of the PA profession, and then we'll sort of dig into Emory specifically. Just in case someone missed it, we do have like a QR code along the way for questions, and we will be answering those as well. And yeah, so we can go ahead and start. So the first one we're going to go over is just kind of the difference between like NP, MD, and PA. A lot of people who are not in the healthcare industry don't actually quite know the difference. I know a lot of people just kind of think like, oh, doctor, nurse, when it comes to healthcare, which really isn't the case because there's like a bunch of different professions. But the advanced practice providers, NPs and PAs and MDs, DOs too, of course, you do see the average annual salary difference right over there. Now, keep in mind that physicians, for example, are normally salaried. PAs and NPs, for example, if you work at a hospital, normally working 12-hour shifts, and you are working normally about 3 days a week. So you're working 3 days a week, making six figures. Healthcare is a very understaffed profession, so there's always opportunity to like pick up more shifts or whatever if you do want to make more than that. Aside from that, education, we all know MD, you do have to go to med school. You have 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school, and then your residency, which does change in length depending on whatever specialty you do want to go into. NPs, you do have to have a bachelor's in nursing. So that's something that like a lot of people, for example, don't know at the beginning until it's kind of too late. But nurses, you do have 2 years of NP school, just like PA is also 2 years, well, 2.5. But one thing about nursing is you do see in the blue under clinical training, upon graduation of NP school, you do have about 700 hours of clinical experience. Compared to PA school, your whole second year is clinical rounds in different specialties. So you come out with about 2,000 hours of experience. It's a lot more than NP school. Now, as far as your degree goes, NP and PA are both masters. There is a push for NP moving towards a PhD. We're going to see how that kind of plays itself out. There are more NP programs in the country than the PA. Oh, whoops, what does that mean? My bad. Now, the biggest thing that I would probably talk about would be how for NP and MD, you are locked in your specialty. As an MD, whatever you do your residency, let's say it's neuroscience, then let's say your residency is 2 years, you work in it for a year or two. If you want to switch out and you decide it's not for you, you have to go back and do another residency. Nurse practitioner, if you are maybe a family nurse practitioner, you are locked in there as well. The good thing about PA is you're not locked into anything. It's a very broad thing that you can do whatever you want with. So for example, let's say you get out of school and you want to go into a neuro ICU. you can do that. And then maybe like a year or two later, whenever you decide, you're like, I want to go stick my hands in some thoracic cavities, like doing cardiothoracic surgery. You're free to do that as well. You just apply. There's no additional sort of training you have to do for that. And we will go into a little more depth about that later. And we can go on to the next slide. Comparing MD and PA, because I did talk about NP a lot on the last slide. There was a study that did show a little over half of the physicians in the sample, which was more than 3,000 people, did have at least one symptom of burnout. Now, burnout, of course, is most likely a result of not like the greatest work-life balance. We did talk about that a little bit, how a physician, you are salaried for the most part. How it works at my hospital is you are on call for 7 days in a row, and then you might get a few days off, and then you're back on call for 7 days in a row. Now, burnout isn't only about you. It also, like, remember, healthcare is like a well-oiled machine where every part has to be working together to work efficiently. Now, your burnout as a physician can affect the rest of your team as well, and that can, turn into a decreased level of efficiency in patient care. We definitely don't want that. Compared to PA, most studies do report a very high degree of job satisfaction. The statistics do back it up as well, and I believe those are on the next slide. Yes, there we go. So number 1 job in healthcare and number 3 job overall. That's taken into account every single job, and this is from US News and World Report, so it's a reputable source. And also the best jobs of 2019, it was ranked number 3. So that's something that a lot of people the best way to gauge how a job is to ask people who are in the profession. Any PA that you talk to, I promise you, they will tell you how much they like their job and how satisfied they are with their decision. We can go on, go ahead on to the next slide. Now, the PA do. And when I told my parents what a PA was, they thought that it was kind of like, oh, you're working under a doctor, kind of doing whatever they want you to do. That's not really how it is. It's a misconception. And that's fine, because honestly, I didn't even know until I actually wanted to be a PA. What it is you're working more in collaboration with your MDs. You're still able to, you get your patient admission, order your tests, you interpret your tests, whether that be EKG, X-ray, CT, whatever. Diagnose the patient, perform your procedures, whether you need to put in maybe a central line, art line, intubate them, whatever. And you also form your treatment plan. Now, a lot of people think that MDs are kind of the ones that form the whole treatment plan, which isn't normally true. How it works is normally maybe the APP will form the treatment plan and present it to the MD during your rounds. And then, you get input from them, feedback, fix it, do whatever you want to do with it. And then we talked a little bit about migration, how you are able to move around whenever you want to, if you want to stick your hand into thoracic cavities, or if you want to, do whatever you want to do. Part of what comes with being a PA isn't just making those treatment plans I touched on earlier. It's also serving as that bedside educator. For example, you're not as disconnected from the patient as an MD would be, for example. You are by the bedside quite a bit, talking to the families, directly to the patients and everything. A lot of people not in healthcare aren't aware of that. And kind of piggybacking off migratory as well, let's say you're in the clinical side of things, and then you decide, you know what, I want to help stop the next pandemic. I want to go do research at the CDC. You can do that as well. No additional training. There are PA openings pretty much in every aspect of healthcare, if you think about it. And that's one thing that a lot of people do look for in a career, because you're not stuck doing something repetitive for 40 years. You can kind of move around as you please. And yes, the next slide. This is a little bit about, of course, one thing that matters in a job is like, is there going to be a job for me when I graduate? PA, yes, of course there's going to be a job. I think it actually says right here, yeah. So the average practitioner, the job growth is 13%. PA is 31%. I believe I read somewhere that is, I believe, in the top 5 fastest job growth as well. So really, you get into PA school, as long as you get your degree and you pass your boards, there will be plenty of jobs waiting for you wherever you want. So that is definitely not something to worry about. And the next slide. So kind of talked on this earlier. Where do PAs work? You can work in a 24-hour hospital. I know in Atlanta we touched on Grady Memorial. It's our like big inner city hospital. You can also work in outpatient offices or clinics, whether that be hematology, oncology, whatever, even family practice if you want to. A lot of people who had their PCP as a kid, I didn't know he was a PA. I thought he was an MB the whole time, but he was a PA. I found that out when I was like 16. I was like, oh, that's cool. You can work in urgent care centers, or everyone who's in college, you know, your health department in college, there's probably a few PAs that work there as well. As far as different specialties go, we talked about neuro, cardiothoracic surgery. There's also primary care, internal medicine, emergency, peds, whatever you want to do. And yes, the next slide. Now we're going to sort of transition into Emory. Out of 250 PA programs, Emory is the number 5 in the whole country, which puts it, I really don't want to do math right now, but I think that's like 98th percentile. So it's up there, definitely a good program. Like I said, I work at Emory, so I actually work with a lot of Emory PAs that went to Emory school. As far as they speak to it, it's a very high level of training. They love it. They love the people who they work with. It's a very family-oriented environment. This is actually something that we are going to touch on in the latter half of this presentation. And the next slide, it's a little bit, this is sort of like the intro to Emory. So that's our website right there. You can find a lot more information on there. This will be posted on there as well soon after. And we encourage you to do that because like Mr. Allen said, we're only here for about an hour. We can't show you everything, but the website has a lot more information in case you're interested. And we really do encourage you guys to maybe write that down, check it out after. And yes, that is good to go. Mr. Allen will take over from here.
Thank you, Shahan. This is kind of our beginnings. If you see these kind of look like old guys standing in front of a building, the guy right here in the front row is named Eugene Stead. Dr. Stead founded the PA profession, but here he is standing at Grady Hospital. What's up with that? Well, he grew up in Decatur, Georgia. That's like 2 miles from Emory campus. He went to Emory undergraduate. He went to Emory med school. Then he went off and did some residency at some Boston place, I think Harvard, I don't know. Anyway, he came back and he was chief of medicine at Emory during World War II. And he was here at Grady. That's where, again, the big teaching hospital in Atlanta. But he took the MD program from 4 years to 3 years during World War II so they could get doctors out a little quicker. Hey, that sounds like PA school. Then he got recruited by Duke. Then Duke took him, he became chairman at Duke, and then he started the Duke PA program, and that's why Duke's #1. We'll never get to #1, I don't think, because Duke is the founding PA program. But we had Dr. Stead, he's an Emory dude. Anyway, that's the history. Our founding father was Dr. Hurst. He's a cardiologist, very famous guy. And he knew Dr. Stead, they were buddies, so they got this PA idea together. And Dr. Hurst started training corpsmen from the military at Grady in cardiology, and that eventually evolved over to Emory campus. And the first degrees were granted in 1971, and that was a bachelor's degree. And then it went to a master's degree in '88. I graduated in '79, so I got another bachelor's degree and came back and got my master's later. But it was, like I say, it was an intense 2 years to go to Emory. Right out of Georgia Tech, I thought, wow, this was harder. So what is Emory's mission? Every program has a mission, so please pay attention when you're writing your essays and coming to interviews. And basically, Emory wants to recruit the best to be the best. And I think that's our underlying drive. We also really, we want a diverse group of students. We really like diversity in our student cohort. And and we want you to be compassionate, I'd say kind healthcare providers. The world is looking for compassionate healthcare providers. So you will have a job. And again, what's our goals? Well, we want to support your journey. We want to make sure everybody who gets admitted walks across the stage with a C. That means certified, okay? You get your certification. We want to make sure everybody who comes in is going to graduate and be a successful PA. So we're here to mentor you and guide you through that process. And again, we do recruit and mentor a diverse group. We do have a holistic admission kind of a review. And then we really want you to be a community giver. We want to see volunteer service and want you to be givers as you step into your profession, as you step out as graduate PAs. We want you to serve the underserved in many different ways. So having that in your application really speaks loudly to us. So if you've done mission work, you've done habitat, you've done things to help your community, we really like that because we do that as a program. We have a Farmworker outreach program. We do a Good Samaritan clinic. We have several health fairs to underserved populations. So really that's our heartbeat. So if you like that, then Emory's a good place for you. Again, what do you need to get here? Well, you got to graduate from something. Okay, and like I said, it could be any background as long as you have the prerequisites. So I've had people who are nuclear engineers and rocket scientists and from everything in between. So we've had lawyers, we've had change of career people from musicians and actors. So really the PA, I'd say it's a diverse class from all different backgrounds. So get a bachelor's degree, number one. Have a GPA of 3.0. You got to have a science and total of 3.0. That's a hard stop for us. Can't be 2.9. And yeah, we'd be happy to share other ways to pull up that GPA. The average candidate who gets an interview, their GPA is around 3.5. So 3.0 is the minimum, okay? But really the higher you can do that. GPA is the best predictor of how you survive PA school. And so we really want to set you up for success. We require GREs, and they have to be done within the last 5 years. Again, it's a graduate school, so it's a graduate requirement of Emory. I know with COVID going on, the GRE testing's been a little wonky, but again, that you could, I think they're opening it up so you can be able to take that at home even without having the testing centers. So again, you want it within 5 years. And we don't have a lot of stock in the scores there, but we still have to have it for Emory. CASPA is the way to go, and we have a supplemental application. So CASPA just opened, and those applications should be going in, and earlier is better. So there's a supplemental application, and most schools have that, and it's more directed to what we're looking for. So not only do you fill out everything in CASPA, but be very diligent about reading the directions on those supplementals and do those filling out the information that the school wants, because those are the things that make you stand out to the school. And you got to meet our technical standards, so those are posted on our website. Again, there's medicine can be a harsh environment. Just with the COVID outbreak, you saw the people having to put on PPE and be very careful. And we want to make sure you would be able to do all the things that are listed in the technical standard. We require 2,000 hours of direct patient care. That's not shadowing, that is taking care of people. We are one of the highest programs in the nation. I don't think anybody goes above that. There's a lot below. But we really value your clinical experience because one, you get to talk to PAs, nurse practitioners, doctors, the healthcare team. You see how healthcare is administered. You really, really get in your heart of hearts, this is the right career for you. We'll go through some of those ways to get patient care experience, but really it has to be doing something with patients. And this even involves mental health. I've had people say, well, I do counseling, I do this. That counts, that is patient care. So if there's ever any question, just notify your school that you're applying to, just ask, is this what you consider patient care? Again, our prerequisites, we require statistics, 3 semester credits, piece of cake. Natural sciences, again, 23 semester credits, including biology with lab, general chemistry with lab, orgo or bio. And again, forget orgo, it'll never help your life. Bio is great, yeah. Anatomy and physiology, okay? And these could be online courses, again, with COVID going on, and I know a lot of courses are online. So if you have any question, again, just ask the school and say, would this work for us? And we'd be glad to give you feedback for that. This gives you kind of a snapshot of the class that's now getting ready to come to Emory. They'll start in August, and yes, we are going to have it on campus as far as we know. So the applicant pool was 2,000, but then only 884 completed their CASPA with everything complete. I don't know where those other 1,000 went. We interviewed 157 out of that 884. So we score everything on these applications, and the high scores get interviews. And out of those interviews, we picked 50 students. We had 4 coming from our dual degree program because we do offer a Master's of Public Health with a PA. It takes an extra year and you have to apply for that specially. On your supplemental, you'd say, I want to be a dual degree, and you'd have to apply to Rollins School of Public Health at the same time. You have to get into PA school and Rollins simultaneously, and it's 1-year program instead of a 2-year MPH. It's a 1-year plus your PA degree. So that's kind of who the cohort is. Every year we take 54 students. This gives you the data. So again, you can download this. You don't, but it does give you some characteristics of who gets an interview and who gets in. So again, our male versus female, you can see the difference. This is pretty much how all of PA-dom is. It's like 25% male and 75% female. Our diversity, we're very proud of having a very diverse class. This is underrepresented minorities. Up to this class coming in is 39%. Our advanced degrees, these are people who already have a master's degree or higher. We've had some PhDs come in because they want to get clinical, but really that's like 22%. Our dual degree students, our veteran population, we always have 1 or 2 veterans in our class. Our average age has usually been rocking around 27. This group coming in is 26-ish. So I think it's getting down a little closer because we're getting more people coming close to out of college, but have been out in the healthcare force for a year or so. You can see this GPAs. This class average went up to 3.67 and science 3.69. So again, your GPA is important, is a part of figuring the score. The average healthcare experience, again, the range went from 2020, which is the minimum, all the way up to 20,000, giving an average of 5,500 hours in the classroom for each individual. So we have some that are coming from careers, but we have some coming right out of college who have planned it and worked or took a gap year. So you can get in with the minimum, but the other things have to be supplementing the point score, like your volunteer hours. Look at this, 1,000 hours of giving back. That's the heart of our class. So again, we love volunteer service and rank that with your clinical experience. And then you can see the GRE scores. You should be in the ballpark. We don't have a minimum here, but again, if it's too low, it gives us kind of a pause. Our class geography, again, where do people come from? Well, Georgia. Well, that's because we live here. So Georgians know about Emory. They know about the quality of the healthcare system, and they've probably met an Emory PA. But our graduates are all over the US of A. So we pull from Florida, but look, we're robbing the West Coast. We have some Californians from Oregon, North Carolina, Texas. Then we get all the way out, and we have some international students, one from China and one from Japan. So it's a very diverse group from all over. Again, what's the clinical experience of the class you will be sitting in? Well, over 5,000 hours average. Medical assistant is by far the top category. So I think it's the easiest job entry level into healthcare, especially working and going to school at college level, because you can set your hours. Athletic trainers is another big one. Patient care techs, CNAs, EMTs, scribes. Scribing is another way to go to school and work shifts, and we love scribes. So some schools don't like it. We think it's amazing. But you have people of all different backgrounds, and they are there to help you get through this PA program. Again, how do you get those 2,000 hours? These are the different professional backgrounds of the class. We even have nurses coming to the PA program who want the PA training rather than nurse practitioner training. Because again, the nurse model gives you 2 ways to go. You could be a nurse practitioner with the RN degree, or you could be a PA. But we usually have 3 or 4 nurses in our class that like the PA model better. So again, that's who you'll be sitting next to in class. We do have a holistic approach to our applications. We look at everything. Once you have your 3.0 at least and your 2,000 hours, we do a 360 look at your whole application. We look at what did you do in your healthcare experience. And again, we rank how much patient responsibility did you have. So a combat medic or an ICU nurse is going to have a much higher level than a medical assistant. It's just we grade what you did on your job. Your GPA is very important. Your narrative, so please have 5 people read it and make sure it's spelled correctly, grammar's good, and it makes sense. Really do your whole, I'd say if you could do a personal journey of why you're taking this path as a PA, that is golden. Please stay away from the blood hit the ceiling, blood hit the floor, and I leaped on the patient and saved their life. Don't do that, okay? Don't be too drama, too over the top. That's kind of annoying. Tell your journey in your own words, and really that's the magic. Again, your GREs, your letters of recommendation. That's why working in healthcare lets you know people who know you and can write great letters. And those should be from physicians, nurses, PAs, who can testify to your care of patients and how good you are with them. Those really rank high with us. You know, your academic people only if they know you. If you are one of 1,000 kids in the class, you know, you can tell on the letter. It's really form letter. Do you align with our mission? That means care to underserved populations. Well, we look and see what did you do as a volunteer? Where did you go? Who did you help? So that's a big part of our mission. The interview day is the last thing. So we are planning to do interviews on campus in September, October. If we have to move to Zoom interviews, we will, but hopefully we can bring you to campus so you get the whole vibe and meet students and see what this is all about. So this is kind of the 360 that we do to figure out who gets interviews and then ultimately who gets in. So why Emory? Okay, well, we're number 5, so we'll take that. So you're coming to a top 5 program. I would say the top 100 programs are all good. So really, the only thing to stay maybe a little warning about are the newer programs that have provisional kind of certification, because again, some of those programs won't make it. And if they collapse while you're a student, you have to start over again. So make sure you're in a solid program that's got good recommendations, that is of a good ranking. So why not Emory? Again, we have a lot of hands-on activities. Again, right now our students are all off campus. Campus is closed because of COVID, but they're coming back. And we're going to have labs for them and hands-on learning. Right now they're doing distance learning, but we'll bring them back and get them back in patient care. So we have a full body dissection first thing fall, and you do get a cadaver. You're working on a team of 6, and you will be doing the cutting on teams of 2. So that is an experience a lot of programs don't have. Then we have several skills labs that we do down in our sim center. And again, you will put on casts and arms. Yeah, that's a funny, good picture. But we want you to get hands-on experience for all the procedures you'll be doing as a clinician. And we do that in a safe environment, not on each other. Nobody's sticking IVs and lumbar puncture needles in your back. Nope, we have mannequins for all of the above. We have kind of a fake clinic, but it's got cameras, and you get to interview fake patients. These are actors. He's got chest pain. My hurt, and this could be your final exam for cardiology. So really, we want you to have these kind of uniform experiences in the lab where we can watch them and give you feedback. This is all first year, and it is clinical simulation. So you practice taking a history, doing a physical exam, writing a chart note, presenting it, and getting graded feedback. So all that's important first year, because when you hit second year and you're actually taking care of patients, you've done this. You've got the procedures down, you know what you're doing. We also emphasize point of care ultrasound, or POCUS. Can I just show you something here? This is my POCUS. This is an ultrasound machine. It fits on my iPhone. This is my screen. And with this together, I can start ultrasounding you. These are amazing tools that can make diagnosis at the bedside for any organ system in your body. So we can scan eyeballs. See here, they're scanning eyeballs. But this is about a $20,000 machine on a rolling cart. Beautiful. This little guy is $2,000, but does everything this can, maybe not on a big screen, but on my iPhone. So I will see all PAs in the future having one of these in their pocket, because you can take it to the bedside and make diagnosis for critical things right there in a matter of seconds if you know what you're doing. In fact, they're triaging COVID patients in the ER with ultrasound to know who has pneumonia, who doesn't, within a few seconds. So it's kind of, I think, a thing all PA should do, but I know Emory's teaching you this in all first year. We even have bought 5 ultrasound, these butterflies, and let you check them out to take home for a week. And you can ultrasound everybody in your house, including your cat and dog, if they'll say so. So just bring it back on Harry. But we really think this is the future, and this is kind of the gee whiz wow stuff that's going on. So we want you to be leaders in technology and how to use it. We have crazy faculty. Again, we love each other. We take care of each other. We want to take care of you. So we do have fun together. We like working together, but we love working with you guys. Where do you play when you're a clinical student? And when you're first year, you actually are going out and seeing real live patients and doing workups, but you're great. We're doing that for a grade and for practice. On your whole second year is going from rotation to rotation, hospital to clinic and back to hospital, where you spend 4 to 5 weeks taking care of patients on each of the specialties. We have a Grady. Grady's an 800-bed city in the city of Atlanta that has a level 1 trauma center, a burn center, sickle cell center, poison control center, all these things in this big tan building downtown Atlanta. That's where I lived for 25 years. So that was my clinical milieu. And it's taking care of a great population. Most of the population served here is medically underserved. We have a VA center right near campus where we're taking care of the veteran population. We have Emory Midtown, and that's right downtown Atlanta. It's a general care hospital. We have Emory on Emory campus, and this is right across the street from the medical school. And it has all the subspecialties, surgical and medical, right there. Then we have Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, 3 hospitals in Atlanta, one at Grady, one at the north side called Scottish Rite, and then the flagship is Eggleston right on Emory campus. But these are the places you train, and you're in an academic medical center, so the physicians are really, can I say, acclimated to teaching, and so they want to teach. And teaching goes on day in and day out, and so that atmosphere is what you will be a part of. We asked our students, why did you pick Emory? This is kind of the survey results, and the survey said, well, it was the reputation. Well, I think Emory has a good reputation. We've been around a while. We were one of the older programs, but we're not stale. We have great graduates, and we have great alumni. We have great faculty and great places to teach you. Student support is a big deal. I think we do have a family atmosphere, and we want you to succeed. So we're going to do everything we can to get you through this program. Our clinical rotations are excellent. So you're going to be, like I say, taught by the best. And I don't know if you watched national news or all that, but you heard there was a new drug that just may help COVID. And the lead investigator here at Emory was actually interviewed on Good Morning. What was GMA? I don't watch morning TV, but anyway, he's the national poster child for this brand new drug that may help COVID patients in the ICU, and he's your immunology teacher here at Emory. So I've got to email him and say, well, dude, you're famous. But they're developing all the new treatments right here, and these are the people who will be teaching you. So a lot of excellent things going on right here, and you're being taught by the best. We have a Farmworker project that's like a mission, but it's South Georgia. So that's why a lot of people choose it. It's not the tuition, okay? Yes, we're not a state school. We're a private institution. We're not the most expensive school, but again, we're not the cheapest either. So what are you paying for? Quality, quality, yes. We're like the Ferrari, I think. All right, well, what's our curriculum like? See, everybody's happy, yay. Well, you start with, this is right when you come to Emory, the very first semester is fall. You're going to get hit with anatomy, with a cadaver lab, introduction to the physical examination. You're going to learn a head-to-toe physical exam by turkey time and be able to demonstrate that from your head by memory. You'll be able to have a foundation of pharmacology, genetics, micro, and ultrasound is kind of the, I would say, the foundation for what's coming the rest of the year. We do a biomedical ethics course, and then you have the history course. How do you take a medical history and make a diagnosis by talking to patients and listening? So you'd be able to do the whole history and whole physical by fall, by turkey time. I know, because you get tested. Then we move into the modules. Starting when you come back after Christmas, basically Christmas break, we walk you through the specialties like psychiatry, dermatology, hem-onc, and each of these you're learning all the pharmacology, physiology, biochemistry, whatever's related to that basic body system. And you may spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks just soaking into that body system, then move on to the next. Meanwhile, you have a longitudinal course called Becoming a Physician Assistant. There's a part 2, part 3, and part 4. This more talks about behavioral health and sexual health. The BPA 3 is all about business side of medicine, billing, coding, insurance, all those things you need to know to function out here in healthcare land. And BPA 4 is a continuation of the business skills. But meanwhile, you're learning medicine too. So all these different specialties are going to be 2 and 3 week modules. And then there's a big summative test at the end of first year to see if you're ready for clinical year. Within each module, anatomy review, biochemistry, genetics, immunology, micro, nutrition, pathophys, preventive medicine, social determinants of health, the ultrasound, you're going to get body system ultrasound test and procedures. And then there's what we call the go out and see real life patients. That's a DELP. I don't know what each letter stands for, but it really means we're going to send you into the hospital during cardiology module to see a cardiac patient. And they're inpatients. They usually have plenty of time to talk to you, take a full history, do a physical exam, write it up as if you were taking care of them, and then your faculty grade that and give you feedback. So you will have seen several real patients during your first year. We start from fall and do it every other semester. You will see patients before you start clinical. We have small groups. We break it up into groups of 10, and you get 2 faculty to be your advisors for life. And we meet weekly, usually on Wednesday afternoons for a couple hours, and we do small cases. I call them whiteboard talks. No PowerPoint. It's just here's a case, let's figure it out together. So it's more a way to get with a small group every week instead of being in the whole class of 54. We do field trips, we do fun things, we eat a lot. So it's again, and your advisors are there to write your recommendations and give you advice to help you through PA school. So you've got 2 people you can have instant contact with throughout your program. Then rotations start. This is the fun part. A whole year of being a PA like student, but you're going to be practicing. So these are the core rotations everybody has to do, but you may not do them in the same place. Emergency medicine could be a downtown Grady and a level 1 trauma center, or you may pick a general hospital with a smaller ER. It depends on what flavor you like. Family medicine is usually outpatient clinics. Inpatient internal medicine, that could be at Grady of the VA or any, again, of our satellite hospitals around the state. OBGYN, pediatrics, psychiatry, social determinants of health is our Farmworker project because you get credit for going on that. That's a 1 to 2 week project. And surgery. So many of these are in Metro Atlanta, but you will do one at least outside in a rural area just to get the flavor of rural. And when we send you out, you will have housing provided. So we do have apartments around the state of Georgia where you will put your head down at night, but you'll be close to the hospital that we're sending you to. You may want to do all rural. Our clinical team takes you kind of what you want to do and where you want to go with this, and will help place you in the places that your top 1 or 2 choices. So you can kind of pick the flavor of, the environment of where you want to be. So we even have out of state and we have international rotations. So after you get through your core rotations, you have time for electives, and those would be things you want to do. I call them prolonged job interviews, but you want to go check out places and specialties that you may want to land in for your job. And so we even do a board review course for you to get you ready for the PANTS, because everybody has to pass your PANTS, and that's your C to get certified. These are some of the electives. We have over 300 electives. So really, you don't have to go find your rotations. We have a smorgasbord, a buffet for you to pick and choose from. So it's more you talk to the clinical advisors, tell them what direction you want to go in and how much more experience you want, and they will tailor that kind of your electives to that. So we do fun things too in school, like we go to the state meetings. The state meeting is usually at the beach, like Destin. That's GAPA. So our state association has a very strong student track, and we do send a volleyball team and a challenge bowl team, and they have a day of just student talks of how to get a job, some medical legal issues, stuff like that for students. So the program usually allocates time for that. So you get to go to our national meeting and our state meeting. Our Farmworker project is kind of award-winning. It's one of our signature projects. We're in our 24th year. We have served over 38,000 farm workers and their families. Again, it's usually 2 weeks in June. We're with the COVID epidemic, we kind of don't know what's happening down in South Georgia. We're paying attention to all the farmers and our local contacts. So we may push that back. We may have to shorten it. We may have to cancel it. But this will be the first year that's happened. But usually we're down in June for 2 weeks and taking care of the migrant farm workers in the, can I say, the dormitories where they're staying or in the packing sheds where they're packing, because they can't come to us and they have no access to health care. We have a whole team of interpreters, we have physicians, physical therapists, all coming with us. And you can see a mob, and we bring down clothing to give away, food to give away, and medicines to give away. But we take care of the medicines and give them free prescriptions. It's all done for free. This is not tuition money. We actually do fundraisers and donations for this whole project. We have a student-run clinic. It's at our Good Samaritan clinic. This is a clinic for the working poor of Atlanta. And it's right behind Georgia Tech, and an area where the housing is not so great, but the population there is awesome and they need clinical care. So our students run a Saturday clinic once a month, and we have volunteer doctors who come and supervise you, and faculty are there to guide you. And it's another way to get more clinical experience as a first and second year. Then it's time to graduate, 29 months. Yay, throw our caps in the air. Let's get RC, let's go get a job. All right, so what makes a strong candidate? This is what everybody wants to know, right? Solid clinical experience really ranks high with us. So again, getting those hours and getting exposure in healthcare. So that's a very important thing. Our community service, because again, we love service to the underserved populations, and that speaks very loud to us. So really, we want to see what hours did you do, then what did you do with those hours, and who did you serve? What were you doing? So these things rank high with us. Are you a leader? And again, doing leadership positions like being a part of your student government or your pre-PA club or starting something. Please put those on your CASPA, because we love leadership. We want to groom you to be PA leaders. Any honors you've received, please put those down in CASPA and put them on your supplementals, because again, we want to know, have you published? Have you done academic awards? Have you had any others outside awards? Those all rank high in our scoring scheme. Then your personal statement. Talk about your journey and make it personal. Don't use the templates. Please just speak from your heart. So we really like that. And for the school supplementals, tell them why you want to go to that school. So for Emory, being a part of this virtual open house is a big deal. So I went to the virtual open house and I saw these crazy people online going, and anyway, we told y'all about Emory. And so that makes a huge deal when we're reading these, because it says you did your homework. You really checked us out. A lot of people don't check us out, and they read the website, they quote something from there, and you can tell. So they really don't know what our mission is, what our flavor is, what's our atmosphere. So again, so as much as you can, learn about the schools you want to apply to and let them know that you've done your homework. Best decision ever, right? Emory PA. I would say I would have no regrets. I've been a PA now 40 years, and it was the best decision ever. So a little more background. I'm married to a physician. She went to Emory Med School. I went to Emory PA School. I got better training. Anyway, she didn't get her training until she was an intern and a resident. She said it was all theory. But then one of my daughters wanted to be a physician, and my wife, the doctor, said, be a PA, you'll be happier. So my daughter did. She went to be a PA school. Now she's happy. So happy. I want you all to be happy. So here's our QR code. If you would just take a picture or the link. And like I said, this is on the download on our admissions page, so you can download it and take a picture. But if you just shine your smartphone right there, boom, take you to a forum. You could submit questions to us, and we'll be glad to answer those, and we'll email them all back to you if you have any questions whatsoever. So at this point in the presentation, I was going to do a tour for you. I'm going to walk you down Clifton Road through the medical center, because on our open houses, we really do take you on a tour. But right now with COVID, we can't do that. Emory is kind of closed, and we're waiting for opening back up. So I'm going to take you on a virtual tour. So if you want to stick around and walk with me virtually, I will take you through the medical center and some of our buildings and what we do in those buildings. If you want to sign out now, that's cool. So you've got the skinny on how to get in the program. I gave you all the inside tips. Shane did a great job telling you all about the profession and how to, why this is so amazing. But I would be glad to walk you on a tour, and I'll bring up the QR code at the end of the tour too. So we'll move on to the next step, which is the tour. All right, here's Emory. Yeah, it's from the sky. But this is sort of the medical centers, all these big buildings on this magical road called Clifton Road. And I gave you this PDF on our website too, so you can download it. And these are links to give you more information about the different buildings and things like that, so you can kind of walk along and see the tour, and you can actually open up the links. But this is the road I'm going to walk you down. It's Clifton Road. And the thing about Clifton Road is it is 4 lanes, 2 going each way, and a little bike lane. But all of the CDC lives on Clifton, all of Emory Healthcare, and then all of Emory University. It gets clogged sometimes. This is what COVID Road looks like. It's empty because, again, some places only the healthcare system's opening. So we're going to take a walk. This is a Google Walk here, a Google Maps, but we are right here on the corner of North Decatur and Clifton, and we're going to walk toward the north. Okay, we're starting south and going north. All these buildings here are Emory main campus. All these buildings in the front are all the healthcare buildings, and that's where I'll take you. All these buildings way up here is CDC, is a small city, Centers for Disease Control, really busy now with the COVID outbreak, and was with the Ebola outbreak, but a lot of important work right next door. A lot of the doctors, like I say, are associated with teaching you here at Emory and Emory Healthcare have co-appointments at the CDC. A lot of our alumni PAs are working in the CDC. So we have a good relationship with those. You just can't walk into CDC though. It is a, can I say, a highly secure place. The museum's the only place you can get in if you don't have any business there. So let's start walking. We'll start up at this end and work our way. First thing you're going to see is our law school. Yeah, you could be a lawyer. I don't know many PA lawyers, but it's there. We have a great law school and a law library. And right across the street from them is the Goizeta Business School. They have a lot of money. They're a big building. Wow. And Goizeta is associated with Coca-Cola. You're going to see a lot of Coca-Cola funding here at Emory. But they have an excellent MBA, bachelor's of in business administration, and a doctorate, and they even have a healthcare administration bent to that. So lots of things to do with business. We don't have much with our PA program with them, but that's an important school. Walking down the street, we will turn in and we'll see our main library. That's the general library, this big tall building. It's a big internet cafe, and they really have books, but this is not the medical library. Emory has about 6 libraries on campus, a theology, a law library, this big general one, There's the health sciences one, which is where we hang, and a few others. So anyway, that's the biggest one on campus, but you are free to hide out in there, and they have a coffee shop and it's got good stuff. And here's Cox Hall. This is our clock tower. And Cox Hall has a food court with about 11 different vendors. Usually it's convenient, faster food for you to eat lunch, because we do think lunch is important. Most of our days on campus, on class first year, usually start at 9 and end at 4 to 5, but you have an hour off for lunch. So Cox Hall is a favorite place to get a bite to eat. And we even have food trucks pull up here on usually Wednesdays when the campus is open, and we have a farmer's market here. So vendors from local farms bring their wares and sell them right here on the bridge for you. Walking past, we have a traditional quad. This is the old campus with the marble buildings. We have a museum with mummies in it, the Carlos Museum. It's free to students on Wednesdays, so it's a cheap date. But it's actually a pretty cool natural antiquities museum with about 30 mummies in it. So that's right down on our classic quad. And here's Dooley. Dooley's wearing his COVID N95. If you notice, Dooley is our unofficial mascot of Emory. The real mascot is the Emory Eagle, kind of goofy looking. So here's the fake mascot, the real mascot. This is our brand new student center, just opened about 6-7 months ago, and has a dining hall, multiple study rooms, and convenience store, things like that. But it's a great place to hang out right in the center of campus. We have a fabulous gym. It's huge. It's like 2 city blocks long with an Olympic-sized pool, rock wall, exercise equipment, and you can see all of the amenities which you are a part of as a student. Your student fees get you in and get you full access. A lot of our students will beat traffic by coming in early and doing workouts because they have showers and lockers, and then go to class, or stay late and like after school do a workout and shower, and then go home after traffic's died down. So it's a great place to do that. Then there's Big Emory Hospital. This is right on campus. It has an old first section of it. You know how hospitals, they kind of add addition and addition and addition and addition. This is about the 5th edition. Is the newest one, and again, added about 400 beds to the whole operation. But this is state of the art with ICUs, oncology floors, everything right across the street with this sky bridge. So you will work up patients there. It has every specialty in medicine and surgery. We don't do OB here at Emory, Maine, and no trauma should come here. It's basically high-level sick medicine and surgical patients. This is the outpatient clinic right across from the main hospital. We have a whole slew of subspecialties represented here to see patients in an outpatient setting. And then we have a Winship Cancer Institute, and this is for adult cancer care. There's a pediatric cancer care center in the hospital, the Aflac Cancer Center, just for kids, but this is the adult center. And so for anything cancer related, all the different specialties are represented in this one clinic. So it is one of the famous centers of the South. And our students work there, they do rotations there, and they can be employed there. We have a free bus service that can take you all around campus and can help you by beat parking by living on a bus line. You can ride these buses for free. It's called the Cliff Bus. You can see the length of all the different routes all around Atlanta, and you can just hop on the bus. They don't ask for ID. They'll take you anywhere for free. But they do serve all the main hospitals that Emory serves in Atlanta. So if you make it to Emory campus, you can ride the bus to the hospitals and back. This is the School of Medicine building, and it is right across from the bus camp. If you're looking, right here is the bus terminal, right in front of Emory Hospital, and then the School of Medicine building. This is where you'll spend most of your days within this building. It houses the anatomy labs, the sim lab, and your main classroom. and as well as the OSCE suites, which are built like a clinic up here on the 3rd level. So it is all modernized, been kind of redesigned for study and small groups and big groups. And it's even got its own coffee shop built in. So, hey, it is a nice building to hang in. This is kind of a typical classroom with stadium seating. Everything is RoboCam, so we record all of our lectures and they're put on the internet so you can watch those day or night and watch anything we've done in class. And then down in the basement, we have a simulation lab that has its own operating theater, emergency room, and basically this is where we learn our ultrasound and we learn procedures. So all that's built down in the basement. And we even have a Harvey, which is a heart simulator that does heart sounds. He breathes and he has neck veins and all of the above. So all that's, we are believers in simulation. Up above on the 3rd floor, we have our OSCE suites, and that's where we bring in patients and they will act for you. And you take a history, do a physical exam, write up a chart just like you're taking care of them in a clinic. This is also where we teach you physical exam and you have a partner from the class you practice on and practice your histories. So it is all done with faculty supervision and it is built like a clinic with all the different otoscope, ophthalmoscope, and everything you need. Down in the model, like I said, down in the sim lab, we do have models for you to practice on. And there's Harvey getting his heart listened to. He's kind of plastic, man, but he does make noise. This is our anatomy lab down in the basement. And again, set up for teams of, usually you're on a team of 6 for 1 cadaver and you're cutting every 3rd week. So teams of 2 within those 6, depending on which body cavity you're assigned to. You may be spending several hours in the anatomy lab that week. These are our other hospitals on Clifton Road. We have Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which has 3 hospitals around Atlanta, including Grady, Scottish Rite on the north side, and then Eggleston is its flagship right here on campus. And excellent children's care, and you can do pediatric rotations and see kids there. This is the PA building, and this used to be a dental school. We call it the old dental school. Emory hasn't had a dental school in well over 45 years. So, this is where the dental school used to be, and now it houses PT program and the PA program in biology. Our PA classroom is on the 2nd floor. Our PA program offices are on the 2nd floor. You can see our PA classroom. Everybody's kind of in there. Yeah, we have seating for 60. We only have 54 students. We have stand-up desk, and we can move these all around and do group projects together here. Down below on the bottom of this building, on the basement level, is the Woodruff Health Sciences Library. That's our medical library. They have real books, okay, but most of our books are all digital now. And all the journals that we want you to read articles for, you can get through the Emory Library online. But if you do need help with research projects or looking up something, they have librarians to help you. It is a great internet cafe and a great place to study. Very quiet. They keep it quiet in there. Right next door to the PA building is Rollins School of Public Health, and it is 2 buildings going to a 3rd building. 3 huge buildings for public health. And again, they have 6 or 7 Masters of Health degree programs. So you got to pick which program you want to be a part of if you're going to do a dual degree. So we do have that dual degree option. I'd say about 3 to 4 students in each class do that, but they're highly interested in going into the CDC work or international health and have a background in that to take the extra year. Very last of our campus is the nursing school, and they have their own building, their own sim lab, their own everything. So this is where the Bachelor of Nursing, the Masters of Nursing and Doctor of Nursing classes, all the nurse practitioner programs are all housed there. And they're great colleagues for us. If you look over right to the side of that, you'll view right into the CDC and the CDC city. And it's a huge number of buildings, and they have the kind of the National Alert Center where they're tracking to all kinds of different diseases around the world. And they have several projects going on right there. But like I said, you can only get in the museum if you're, and you have to have an ID. Otherwise, the CDC's off limits. but we do have several faculty who come from the CDC. And there's our QR code one more time, same one. So if you didn't get it first time, I'll leave this up. But we thank you for joining us. We thank you for attending our virtual open house. Please send us any questions that we did not answer. Download all the handouts so you can have those for reference. But we do want you to apply. It's highly recommended to apply early if you have everything ready to go. If you only have 1,999 hours, please wait till you get 2001, then apply. The minute you hit submit, that's the hours we take, and if it's under 2,000, the application will not go further. So if you have any questions about us, I'm going to post our emails up on the board here. So moving right along, see if I've got that next. Yep, that's how to get us. That's our phone numbers at admissions. That's my email. This is the admissions team. Really just email me. It's easy, aplatt@emory.edu. If I can't answer your question, I know these other people can help me, so I'll have them help too. So use me as the main contact, and we hope you can get your CASPA in. Hopefully we will start reviewing those, and we'll set up some interviews in the fall when it's safe to come to Emory. And that's what we're planning. We're going to have a class, we hope, and we'll have it on campus. We got to get this COVID thing licked. So, and Emory's doing a big push to find the medicines, find the vaccine. The best outcomes right now from ICU patients are coming from Emory, which is pretty cool. So the lowest death rate from around anywhere in the country, they're being reported by Emory Healthcare from ICU admissions. So our clinicians are there on the front line doing the right thing. And thank you, Cheyenne, for being a part of this, and thank you for fighting COVID on the front line. So I really wanted you to hear from a voice who's in the trenches and also who's applying to PA school. So he's right there in the thick of it. So you've had a great opportunity to hear from him. So I'm going to sign off, and do you have anything, Cheyenne?
Yeah, I was just going to say, as far as that QR code goes, those questions, that can be for anyone. That can be for the admissions team, me, like, don't hesitate to ask anything. We're here to help you guys. And like I said, just don't be afraid to ask anything. We're happy to help with anything. So yeah.
We are. We want you all, the world needs more PAs, and we want you all to be PAs. And I'm sticking to that. We're here to help you get in and be a PA. Hopefully at Emory. All right, signing off. End the meeting, boom.